This is Jennings, Louisiana, a small rural town tucked into Jefferson Davis Parish, where the streets wind between bayous, gravel roads, and moss-draped trees line quiet neighborhoods. A town where everyone knows someone, yet not every life is treated equally. Between 2005 and 2009, 8 women from this town would be found dead, their lives stolen, their stories ignored. They would later be known together as the Jeff Davis 8. The first was Loretta Lynn Chason Lewis, 28 years old. Known for her laughter, her warmth, a woman trying to survive in a town that offered few opportunities. She was found floating in a drainage canal on May 20th, 2005. Weeks later, Ernestine Marie Daniels Patterson, 30 years old, a mother, a friend, a woman with dreams she never got to fulfill, was discovered with her throat slashed. Police dismissed these deaths as drug-related or isolated incidents. But they were wrong. Now, we need your curious, investigative mind. As you watch, imagine yourself walking the streets of Jennings, speaking with neighbors, examining the crime scene, asking questions, thinking about who could have done this. What could have happened? Why were these women targeted? Why did the system fail them so completely? Keep these questions in mind, because by the end of this episode, the story of Loretta and Ernestine, the night the pattern began, will start to make sense. Jennings is small, population under 10,000, a town with a proud community, but a town with little economic opportunity. Jobs are scarce, schools underfunded, and the social safety net is fragile. Loretta Lewis, life and death. Loretta Lewis struggled to survive. Addiction and poverty shadowed much of her life. But those who knew her describe a woman who could light up a room with her smile. She laughed easily, cared deeply for friends and family, and dreamed quietly of stability and better days. She was last seen alive just days before her body was discovered. Friends reported her missing, but law enforcement responded slowly, almost as if her disappearance were routine, an expected consequence of her circumstances. When Loretta's body was found, police decided quickly that it was drug-related. An isolated incident, no urgency, no thorough investigation, no justice. The scene told a different story. Blunt force trauma suggested a struggle. Drowning indicated something more deliberate. Yet witnesses who could have shared information were dismissed. Evidence was overlooked. Leads went cold almost immediately. Ernestine Patterson, life and death. Weeks later, Ernestine Patterson vanished. She was 30, a mother of a young child, a woman known for her caring nature and her hopes of building a life despite the town's challenges. Her body was discovered on June 18, 2005, with her throat cut. The violence was intimate, personal, terrifying, and yet, the police treated the case superficially. The connection to Loretta was ignored entirely. The community noticed. Whispers turned into murmurs of fear. Neighbors began avoiding certain areas, but the system remained silent. Why were these deaths dismissed? Because of systemic neglect and misconduct. All 8 women were Black. They faced poverty, addiction, and, for some, involvement in sex work. Some had personal relationships with local law enforcement, creating conflicts of interest. Allegations of officer misconduct compromised investigations from the start. The deaths of Loretta and Ernestine were not statistics. They were warnings, and yet the authorities dismissed them. If you are following this case, leave a like or comment. Your engagement helps keep the stories of Loretta and Ernestine alive. Community context. Jennings is small. Everyone knows everyone, yet 2 women could vanish. And justice was not served. Rumors of police misconduct circulated. Neighbors feared retaliation. Families grieved in silence. Life in Jennings is tough. Poverty is widespread. Addiction is common. Crime is a daily concern. And the system that should protect the vulnerable repeatedly failed. While Part 1 focuses on Loretta and Ernestine, 6 more women would later be discovered, each with their own story, dreams, and struggles. 1. Kristen Gary Lopez, 21 years old, barely out of her teens, trying to build a life despite addiction and poverty. A young woman whose future had barely begun. 2. Whitney Charlene Dubois, 26 years old, in the prime of her young adulthood, navigating work, relationships, and family. A life tragically cut short. 3. Laconia Muggy Brown, 23 years old, a friend to many in Jennings, known for her laughter, energy, and small hopes for better days. 4. Crystal Shea Benoit Zeno, 24 years old, a young mother struggling to care for her child while surviving in a town that offered few opportunities. 5. Brittany Gary, 17 years old, still a teenager on the threshold of adulthood, with innocence, dreams, and her whole life ahead of her. 6. Nicole Giangigliori, 26 years old, another young woman facing life's challenges, trying to survive and be seen in a world that often ignored her. Each woman was connected by geography, circumstance, shared struggles. Though the full pattern was not yet recognized, their stories were already intertwined. Think about it. These women were daughters, mothers, sisters, friends. Imagine losing someone and being ignored by those entrusted to protect them. Imagine living in fear while a predator operates freely, and knowing the system has failed repeatedly. Could these deaths have been prevented? Could justice have been served? Reflect on the facts, consider the environment, and share your thoughts in the comments. The deaths of Loretta and Ernestine shook Jennings quietly. Loretta Lewis was found in May of 2005. Ernestine Patterson was found just weeks later. 2 women. Same town, similar circumstances. And still, police insisted there was no connection, no public warning, no press conference, no task force. Life in Jennings continued as normal. But among the women of the town, something had changed. They began traveling in pairs. They avoided certain roads after dark. They stopped answering knocks at night. Because rumors were spreading, women were disappearing and coming back dead. The deaths were being quietly categorized. Drug use, lifestyle choices, unfortunate coincidences. But ask yourself this: how many coincidences does it take before it becomes a pattern? By the end of 2005, another woman would be found, then another, and another. Each discovery reinforcing what authorities refused to say out loud. Someone was hunting women in Jennings, and whoever it was operating in plain sight. Here's where the investigation truly failed. Not because there were no leads, but because the wrong assumptions were made from the very beginning. What happens when victims are dismissed, before justice even has a chance to begin? What happens when the people meant to protect a community are rumored to be entangled in it? And what happens when silence becomes policy? These are not dramatic questions. They are investigative ones. And they matter. As you've watched this story unfold, you've seen the warning signs. 2 victims. Similar environments. A police response that lacked urgency. If you were investigating this case in real time, what would you have done differently? Would you have connected the cases sooner? Would you have warned the public? Would you have looked inward at the department itself? Leave your thoughts below. Your questions matter. In part 2, we follow the next victims. We examine the growing fear in Jennings, the names that kept repeating, and the allegations that would shake trust in law enforcement itself. Because by the time the 3rd body was found, the pattern was no longer subtle. It was screaming. These cases remain unsolved. Their families are still waiting. Subscribe to this channel to keep attention on stories that were forgotten too soon. Because justice cannot begin where silence is allowed to live.